Hello and welcome to the Bro Chat for the People podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Manhood Camping Fire Quest. I'm looking for 100% real bros to share and experience manhood in all its glory. This is for real. I don't want to waste my time or yours. Just 100% manhood, no sugar added. I am not gay. Don't even think that this is a sex thing. It's all about manhood. Looking for bros to head into the woods and bond by the fire, experience life as men once lived it, and go on fire vision quests. This is not a sex thing, I say again. Gonna need some basic skills. I don't want to be slowed down by fools. You must be in reasonable shape. If you get winded walking, then just stay home. Desire. You need to have a desire to be a man among men. You're not afraid to wield a blame. You're bringing crystal, because I'm not sharing mine. You have to be able to make a fire, and you need gloves. Oh, a knowledge of native vegetation is a plus as well. Knowledge of psychotropic fungus is definitely a plus. Knowledge of modern music and protective splash-resistant eyewear. What I don't want to see is bad attitudes or gay or homoerotic behavior. This is a manhood thing, and as I said before, I am not gay. The nerds, dorks, and lamos, and anyone else that's less than 100% into manhood can stay at home, too. Last outing, we had a group that was so charged up, we attracted bears. It was no deal. Nature knew man was in the forest, and the crystals gave us the confidence to own those bears. I saw it. I was there. I'm 100% serious. No fakers. And again, I'm not gay. All right, let's go. Woo! Oh man, I tell you, there's nothing gets me in a better mood than a pleasant, upbeat piano melody. You know what I'm saying?
I smell what you're stepping in, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Stepping that shit all day. Ah, jeez. Now we have to have the explicit tag again.
Speaking of which, I think we need to mention this right off the bat for all you people that are still listening to this podcast on YouTube. We are officially
on. Good for you guys, by the way.
Yeah, good for you guys. We are officially on the iTunes podcast app, which everyone who has an Apple phone has on their phone.
And you can't get rid of.
You cannot
delete it.
You can't delete it. So you might as well just go up there, search for Bro Chat for the People, Bro Chat one word, and subscribe. And then you can listen from there. Then you can listen in a car. You can listen on a walk or on a run.
You can listen
in
while you use other apps. That's a big deal.
Exactly. You don't have to keep YouTube open if you listen to it.
Easy background listening. That's what I like to say.
As of today, we're also officially on Stitcher. So all those Google phone people,
so exciting.
We wanted to get to you too. But so go on there, guys. Subscribe and
I love Stitcher. Stitcher's really cool. I enjoy Stitcher immensely.
Now you can just share it easily with friends. Just tell them about it. Leave some reviews for us, maybe. Get us super popular.
Only if they're good ones.
Yeah, that's true. No bad reviews, please. No honest reviews, please. But
all right, Tom, what are we talking about today?
Hold on, we got one more thing. We got to talk about our stuff that's going on. We got our T-shirts, man.
Oh,
Bro Chat for the People T-shirts. Go on our Facebook page, guys. We got some sweet T-shirts for sale. They're selling like hotcakes. And you got like
they are selling like hotcakes.
2 weeks to buy them.
They're selling like hotcakes that I didn't anticipate selling so well. because of the price of the hotcakes.
Yeah, exactly.
They're delicious hotcakes. They look so good, but oh man.
Anyway, so today we're talking some March Madness.
We are.
We got some. We're finally down to the Final Four, guys. We
are back.
Got some really interesting games. I don't know. I'm really unsure of what's going to happen, but I'm sure that we'll have a great analysis of it anyway.
Can you imagine if Syracuse wins the tournament, man?
I can imagine it, sure.
But like the fact that they shouldn't have even been in the tournament, and
According to
then
Joe
like
Lenardi, garbage man.
they're a 10 seed. Well, also they were 19 and 13 during the season.
In
They
the
didn't have a good.
ACC,
Yeah. Okay,
it's like
fine.
more impressive than the old Big East, honestly.
Well, the ACC is the powerhouse conference these days, absolutely, along with the Big 12. But
I mean, they had what four teams in the Elite Eight that were from the ACC. They have two teams in the Final Four from the ACC.
yeah, it's true.
It's pretty impressive stuff. And I mean, like, no matter how you look, the four teams on the right side of the bracket were all the four teams were all on the right side of the bracket were all ACC. You got Notre Dame, UVA, Syracuse, and UNC. All ACC teams. But I think
Yeah,
we should talk about uh, this Oklahoma Villanova game.
I'm so excited for this game
I,
because I told you, Thomas. I told you from the beginning that Buddy Hield would lead Oklahoma to glorious final appearance against Michigan State.
yeah,
Speaking of Michigan State, even though they lost in the first round, Denzel Valentine, their best player, was named AP Player of the Year.
like that means nothing.
Just reminding us why we all picked them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, Buddy Hield is. I mean, the question is he going to carry Oklahoma to victory?
Because it's really up to him.
It is up to him. If he has a great game, they can win. If he doesn't have a great game, they might probably not win. I mean, there's so many different parts to this game because I mean, sure you got Buddy Hield, but the last time they played, Oklahoma beat Villanova 78-55. That was in December. Buddy Hield scored 17 that game, which was kind of low for what he did. But at the same time, during that game, the Wildcats only shot 4 for 32 from the 3-point line.
4 for 30. They took 32 threes.
That was the most threes they've taken all year, and the second least amount that they've hit all year was in that game. So I don't know whether that was just like ice cold or whether that was the Oklahoma defense caused them to miss that many shots. But it might. There's a couple things that like when you see that you might think, nah, there's no way that Villanova is going to win. They lost last time. They're a 3-point shooting team. Plus, they're classically just terrible in the tournament. Like, it's a miracle they've gotten this far. I mean, we had them losing to, Temple.
We had them losing to Temple in the second round, yeah. We said they wouldn't even make the Sweet 16 because that's what happens every year.
Exactly. They always raise all the expectations, then lose to, FGCU or something. It's disgusting.
Yeah. It was their first time in the Elite Eight this year since 2009. And they've been well, yeah, but the thing is, it's 7 years, but they've been a top team all 7 of those years.
That's true.
That they haven't made the Elite Eight. That's why everyone's
typically one of the top,
yeah,
ranked 1 through 4 typically. But
yeah, easily.
I don't know.
That's why we were so down on them.
Yeah, that's true. This tournament though, the Villanova is shooting 46% from the three and 55% from the field. So I mean, they're hot. There's no other way about it. But do they go ice cold again against Oklahoma?
Hard to see.
I mean, it is the Final Four, added pressure, but I mean, there's a lot of pressure in those Elite Eight games too.
There's a lot of pressure on Buddy Hield too. So even if they are cold, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on Oklahoma.
That's true.
It's not like it's a one-way street.
That's true. So maybe that part, but I feel like it affects you more shooting than it would anything else. How's pressure going to affect you making a layup or dunking on somebody?
Oh, that's fair. That's
just
fair.
Gets you out. But I mean, that usually affects you in the beginning and the very end of the game. That pressure, the pressure doesn't affect you, halfway through. And if it's anything like the last game, and they're up 78-55, in the last 3 minutes, it's not going to really matter whether there's pressure or not. They can miss every free throw down the stretch, and it does not matter.
Yeah. Do you think who do we know if Villanova's the favorite? I mean, they're both 2 seeds, but I would imagine Villanova's the favorite since they actually ended the season what was it? The 4 seed? Villanova? Yeah.
I'm not
I don't
really
know.
sure. Um, but I
Yeah,
don't
they
know.
were the 4 seed, and Oregon was the 5 seed, yet Oregon got the number 1 seed. Um, yeah, but yeah, I'm not sure. I think that probably affects it too. If you're considered the better team and you're considered the favorite, there's always more pressure on you, especially in the big, big, big games.
Yeah.
Um, and yes, as you said, pressure definitely affects shooting. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm not sure. I honestly, it's March Madness for a reason. Nobody gets it right.
But the one interesting thing that I was reading about Buddy Hield today was that they have this metric called game score, which
Yeah,
somehow measures a player's individual performance
yeah,
in a game to game setting.
uh-huh.
They looked at how Buddy Hield has stacked up to the rest of the people in the tournament up to this point in the tournament, like in the history of the tournament,
Yeah.
and he is second.
To Steph Curry?
Indeed.
Yeah. I remember that Davidson run. Oh my gosh, that was one of the most brilliant things to watch. Steph Curry in the tournament, but still at number 7, which is pretty much the same pick that it looks like Buddy Hield's going to go to. Any similarities here?
Well,
I'm not about to say Buddy Hield's the next Steph Curry, but I am ready to say he's the next Klay Thompson.
how about you think there's a possibility the Celtics get him
I
slash
think
want him?
there's a huge possibility. I think he would fit great. Something the Celtics need is well, right now they have a guy who wants to take the last shot, but the problem is he's 5'9"
And
and and streaky. But
very streaky.
yeah, but what they need is a great 3-point. They need 3-point shooting. They like to take a lot of threes, but as a team, they only shoot like 31 or 32% from three. So it's not top of the NBA here. With you got Golden State shooting 40% as a team, but
I feel like Isaiah Thomas is like he's not. He's a decent guy to have taking your last shot because he can make all the crazy shots. But I
all the
feel like,
layups around the basket mostly.
but they're not like layups. They're like
Oh, well, of
kind of
course they
crazy
can't be
layups and stuff.
because he's 5'9" and has to dance among the trees.
Yeah, but I mean, what I mean is like when we grew up watching the Celtics, Paul Pierce was the guy, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
he would do almost the same thing every time. He would get to his spot, and he'd take his shot.
yeah.
He wouldn't necessarily let the defense dictate how his shot was taken. Like he'd go to the elbow, do a couple jiggles, and then do a fadeaway
A
shot.
couple jiggles.
I mean, that's what it looked like later on in his life.
No, absolutely, yeah.
A couple
No, I agree
to
with
turn
you.
around and fade
A
from the
couple
elbow.
jiggles. Something people don't remember about Paul Pierce is that he was once actually a really great athlete.
Yeah.
And he was throwing down on top of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you hit like 2006, 2007, so like the second half of his career, he just started he put on a little bit of weight. He got a little slower.
A little bit, yeah.
Still one of the best players of the 2000s easily.
Okay. Well, going back to this game though, so I just looked it up. The Wildcats are a 1-point favorite.
1 point. Okay. Wow. Jeez.
So,
If I was a betting man, I'd stay away from this weekend's matchups.
oh, cool. You never want to bet college basketball, March Madness. It's just the dumbest thing you could do. But it's fun to, I mean, taking that into account, the fact that we do fill out brackets and a lot of times enter a pool of money. I mean, it is betting, but it doesn't feel like betting. It just feels like the necessary fee to have a really enjoyable / terrible March Madness.
The necessary fee to keep me interested.
I mean, it's like with fantasy football. I mean, like if you put money into a team, even if they're terrible, you're still kind of like, oh, this still affects me so much.
Yeah.
The fact
Plus,
that my team's terrible.
plus, you put in.
You can't
put
just
in
be like,
that,
whatever. I just won't check it ever again.
Yeah, you put in that $50 at the beginning of the year, and then you win, and it's something you've forgotten about, and then all of a sudden you get a check in the mail for $350. There's no better feeling.
But so who are you picking for this game, Daniel?
I'm picking Oklahoma.
with the spread. You're picking them?
I'm picking Oklahoma to win the game.
Okay.
I know you probably differ. You haven't been high on Oklahoma. You love the Big East. This kind of seems like a fairy tale year for Villanova. And I don't know. They are a great basketball team. I wouldn't blame you for picking them in the slightest. I just gotta go with my gut and follow my heart.
Yeah, this is the thing though. My gut's telling me Oklahoma, but my
Oh,
mind is telling me Villanova,
well, Thomas,
and my heart is
as
telling
the
me Villanova.
rational,
My heart,
as
my
the
mind is telling me Villanova, but I have a gut feeling that Villanova is going to get wrecked.
that's just fear. That's
Maybe
just
it
fear.
is. Maybe it is.
That's like your gut
But I have
feeling.
nothing. Like we
That's like
picked
your
Oklahoma.
that's
Like
like
I don't
that's
care necessarily about Villanova. Like
yeah, but that's like your gut feeling that you have before every Patriots game, like we're about to get blown out.
that's true. That's true.
Does it usually happen? No. In fact, it never happens. I don't remember last time we were blown out.
Really, Daniel? Did you block it out of your memory?
Of course I do. I did, and I do for every single time it happens.
What happened? What? I didn't think the Patriots had a season in 2012. I thought they were kicked out of the league or something. I don't know. I don't remember that season.
That was like the day after they lost to the Broncos this year. I was like, wait, did they play a game yesterday? Oh,
Yeah.
whoops.
Oh, I don't
No,
remember that.
I thought the AFC Championship was next week.
I was just hanging out with some bros yesterday, drinking beer. Maybe too much beer.
Drinking a lot of beer. Ugh. But hey, at least it wasn't Redbridge.
That's true. Brought to you by Redbridge, gluten-free
Brought
beer.
to you by Redbridge, the gluten-free beer. The gluten-free beer.
No other gluten-free beer like it, / worth having.
It's true. Omission's kind of gross.
It is kind of gross.
And I'll be honest, I've had some of your gluten-free beer in the past, Thomas, and Redbridge is probably my favorite one. If I was forced to drink gluten-free beer, I would go with Redbridge.
I mean, the thing is, it's like not it doesn't have a very distinct flavor.
Well, of course
It has a
it's
little bit of a
gluten-free.
flavor. No, gluten. No, that's people's biggest complaint is the fact that gluten-free things have a weird taste to it because there's no gluten in it. Which is true. It doesn't taste the same, but
No, it definitely doesn't.
I mean,
it's not like it's puke worthy.
I mean, there's such a variety of beers anyway that, I mean, Redbridge tastes as much like, Budweiser as, I don't know, Rebel IPA does. Like, whatever.
Rebel IPA. Nice, Sam Adams. Throw him in there.
Why not? This is the first one that popped in my head.
Solid.
But,
The original craft brew, Sam Adams. And then they just got so popular.
see, guys, we're really good at this. We could do ads.
God, no, we don't need 20,000 monthly listeners.
We don't want much. Just enough to cover our expenses.
Hey,
Guys, yeah, hey, if this is another plug for our t-shirt, I don't care if you call me a money whore. We need money.
as long as we get that money,
And,
though.
if you guys listen to us, if you guys have listened to, say, this is our 26th podcast. That's a
Oh, my
lot.
word. How many
If you guys-
hours do you think we put into this, Thomas, over the last 2 months?
Oh, a lot.
So many.
At least 2 per podcast.
2 hours per?
Yeah.
I think it's like 2 hours while we're talking to each other on video. That doesn't take into account the daily the daily meetings that we have, and
Yeah, that's
and
true.
searching for content and whatever else, researching things just enough so we can glaze over them.
Yeah. But if you guys listen to these podcasts, get some hours of entertainment out of it, try buying a shirt from our Facebook page.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, hey, years
It's
to
really
come.
cool. And you don't even
there-
have to say it's about us. You can wear it around and be like, whatever.
Oh, it's this podcast that I listen to. I don't know the people who do it.
Yeah. You don't even have
Or
to
I mean,
associate with us.
even beyond that, if we're looking to the future, I mean, this is a really part of the reason the T-shirt is a little bit more expensive than you would think a T-shirt should be is because first, I mean, it's a really high quality T-shirt, and second, there's a lot of sentimental value attached to this sort of thing. Think of it in either of two ways. First way, we end up in sometime in the future hopefully sooner than later, rather than later. Somehow, by an act of God, we blow up and we're super famous. Now you've got yourself a Bro Chat for the People shirt already. And then the other way.
You could be the hipsters of podcast listeners.
Exactly. The other way. You've got something that nobody else has, or 16 other people have.
Danny, 16 doesn't sound like it's selling like hotcakes.
And if we don't do this forever, and if it fizzles out eventually, which, God forbid, but if it fizzles out eventually, like, you have that to remember us by.
You pull it out of your closet one day and be like, oh, yeah.
I remember. Oh, my gosh. I remember those two clowns.
I should go back and re-listen to them and convince them to, get it going again.
Tom, what if we're like those artists that slave their entire lives and then die, and then their stuff gets really popular?
That would suck.
That would suck. Especially since we tend to talk about current events.
But maybe we're talking about future events that aren't current yet.
That's an interesting point.
History keeps repeating itself, man.
No, well,
there's going to be someone 200 years in the future that's going to be named Donald Trump, and he's going to be crazy, and he's going to be running for the president of the world, and he's going to be running
Donald Trump. Yeah. Well, I mean, assuming the world's still around, we know not the time nor the hour or place. Wait, shoot. Misquoting this in some way.
I doubt it's place. I don't think
we know not the day nor the hour. That's what it is.
It's always dangerous quoting things offhand and doing math offhand on these podcasts, because
especially for me,
people just attack you.
Oh, especially for
spend 50 minutes doing a podcast and someone picks out one sentence that you mention offhand.
Yeah, seriously, I thought we were in the privacy of our own studios.
Yeah. I thought the interweb was a nice place.
Oh goodness. Also, tomorrow, as long as we're plugging our own stuff, keep on the lookout for the third part of my trilogy on dating and relationships. It's gonna be just absolutely great, and a lot of great advice for all those dudes who have recently been broken up with, and for all those dudes who have just been broken up with at least once in their lives. Something that you can relate to.
And we invite any women to please respond to this idiot about his dating.
Yes, we actually do have a response from which will be hopefully going up on the site tomorrow after I post the third part.
Oh,
we have a response to my dating tips from a female listener.
A rebuttal, maybe?
That's pretty much what it is. It's just from the female perspective.
Ah, okay. Did they just take everything you said and reversed it and put man and women everywhere?
No.
We'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow.
It was pretty. It was very clever. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very funny.
Nice.
Anyway, because this is satire, and we don't take ourselves too seriously around here. So if anyone was offended, I'm sorry. You didn't get it. All right, moving on.
We got to get back to this March Madness thing.
Yeah,
because we got another game this weekend. They're both tomorrow, right?
They are both Saturday.
Saturday. I'm thinking this is a Friday podcast. So
this is a Friday.
Saturday.
Yeah, they're both tomorrow. Yeah, because we're doing this Friday morning.
Yeah. Because this is our job.
Yes, because we do this full time, and that's why we need you to buy those T-shirts so we can pay rent. So that our slumlord can't kick us out or take our firstborn.
We don't have to move back with our parents. Wait. Anyway,
it's like we're not recording this together, but you're still slapping me in the face every chance you get.
I know. Anyway, number 10.
Soon enough, I'll be your problem, Thomas.
That's true. I know. Anyway, number 10.
How many times can we say anyway and then start over?
Anyway.
Oh shoot! He did it. That boy did it again. Anyway, yes, Syracuse versus North Carolina.
It's I feel like it's a pretty interesting matchup.
I feel like the initial instinct of everyone listening and maybe even of us is just the initial instinct is like, oh, UNC is going to blow them out. But keep in mind that Syracuse made it this far.
Yep.
And not all their games were against chumps.
Nope. They beat UVA.
They beat UVA, a number 1 seed.
Yeah. They beat well, you might say, oh, Gonzaga was an 11 seed, but
No, but Gonzaga
beat Utah, which was a number 3 seed.
Gonzaga, I mean, was only an 11 seed because their strength of schedule wasn't that great, but they were 27-5 or something this season, whatever it is, 27-6 or whatever it is. They were a good team.
I mean, this is going to be a classic defense versus offense matchup.
I'm excited.
Like what I pulled from this.
How do those usually play out, Thomas? Doesn't the defense usually win?
I was going to get to that, yeah. But
sorry
at the end of the day, yeah, the defense wins like 90% of the time.
That's too bad.
Though
Pats won the Super Bowl last year.
That's like only in championships.
Yeah.
I feel like that doesn't fit in the playoffs. Like the playoffs, like people win, but then when it comes to the championship, for some reason,
I think there's just so much more pressure.
And offense is harder. Offense takes more skill. You know what I mean? Like defense is like hustle and hard work versus like the skill of. If you can throw someone off shooting a basketball just a tiny bit, then they won't score. But if you're defense and you're like, and you're not in his guy's face, he might not score anyway.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Anyway, so coming into this game, the Tar Heels have scored 83 points, 85 points, 101 points, and 88 points.
That, for those of you who don't, know the differences between college and pros, that right there is a college powerhouse offense.
Yes.
That is a powerhouse.
It's pretty rare to see 80 points, especially in the tournament.
And, absolutely.
I mean, they do it by just watching that Notre Dame game. It was kind of just the rebounding. The offensive rebounding was just kind of embarrassing.
Gosh.
Like they sat under the hoop and just collected the balls that they missed and just put them right back.
I know. It was so frustrating watching that game and rooting for Notre Dame and being like, oh my gosh, just
get a rebound
out. Like, you can't come back if they get 3 offensive rebounds in one trip down the floor.
Yeah.
And they literally can use up 2 minutes of the clock.
So keeping those in mind, we have 3 80s in 100-point game. Syracuse coming into this game has allowed 51, 50, 60, and 62.
Wow.
And for those of you who don't know, those are really low. It's usually somewhere in the middle.
Exactly.
But
wow, that is quite impressive.
This is the thing that's been being said, because what is it 3-2, 2-3? Which one do they play?
I think they play a 3-2.
3-2,
right? To limit the 3-point shooting because college is so heavy on the 3.
No. I don't think that's what they play at all.
So it's a 2-3.
Yeah. They play classic zone.
Okay. Yeah, classic zone would be a 2-3.
Because the thing is, in order to beat Syracuse, you have to hit threes. Because they stack the inside.
Okay, so that's okay. There you go.
Yeah, there are no bounds. There's very few offensive rebounds. You can't drive into the paint easily. They're one of the few teams out there that can successfully play a zone, and that's probably just because Jim Boeheim's such a master at teaching people how to do it.
That's true.
Like they can really play a zone. They don't have. Everyone knows exactly what to do under every circumstance. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's credit Jim Boeheim for getting them this far. Partially their talent level, but just the fact that he's a masterful coach and has been for a long time.
I mean, this is always the thing with Syracuse. Like, can people break down the zone?
Yeah.
That's always the question against Syracuse, and it has been for as long as I can remember. And then when they had people like Carmelo on their team, they were just unstoppable. Because they could also play really good offense.
Carmelo, man. Well, I'm always surprised to remember the fact that he went to Syracuse and didn't just go straight to high school or straight from high school, because that's the trend that a lot of athletes those days were doing. But yeah, went to Syracuse for a year and won a national championship.
Yep. So I'm really kind of unsure if the Tar Heels can make those threes, man, they should win, because it'll open up the zone a little bit, and then they might be able to get those offensive rebounds. Like, what's that kid's name? Like Johnson?
Bryce Johnson.
What has he had, like, more double-doubles this year than, like, anybody ever?
Yes, I think he has the most. Well, I don't think it's anybody ever, but it's the most in Tar Heel history, I think.
Okay. which is pretty
Which is
impressive.
saying something, because that's one of the this is their 19th time in the Final Four, and that's the most of any college team ever.
Yeah, and like you can remember some of the. It's not even like they just had like Jordan back in the day. They've had some really good big guys. Like
Oh, absolutely.
like what was his name? The white kid, Tyler
Hansborough.
Tyler Hansborough. He was a monster in college. Like he got
He was a
rebounds and he
monster in
scored a
college.
lot of points. Like and
Yeah.
this guy Bryce Johnson, who no one really hears about that much because for whatever reason.
Because North Carolina's stacked, and they've actually got some guys who have been there for a while, and Bryce Johnson's a freshman.
Yeah. And
like they've still got Marcus Page and Kennedy Meeks who are dominating, stuff like that.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see whether that freshman can do it again. What's his name? Malachi from Syracuse. Malachi.
You mean Hawaii? The guy from Hawaii?
No, the guy from Syracuse.
Malachi. Damien of Malachi. Get it? That's who my nephew's named after, actually.
Nice.
You're talking about, who are you talking about?
Malachi Richardson.
Richardson.
Yeah. The kid's a freshman. He was a beast last game, and he's the reason that they beat UVA.
He's having a good season.
Yeah, dude, he's a good player.
Oh, and Tyler Roberson last game had a great game defensively, pulling in rebounds and just pumping his team up with explosive dunks.
Yeah, but it'll be if this kid can have a game like he had last game. Like, there's no reason that Syracuse can't win.
Mm-hmm. Syracuse, man.
It'll be pretty exciting if Syracuse wins.
It would be. It would be a huge upset. This is a 10 seed and a 1 seed. This is like Middle Tennessee beating Michigan State.
Yep. Yep. And
but it's in the Final Four.
Yeah. There are, I think, what was it the other day? They were the 5th double-digit seed. No, the 4th or the 5th double-digit seed to make it to the Final Four.
That's crazy. Butler was one of them. Woo-woo! Butler was an 11 seed one of those years.
Was George Mason
George Mason was a 10, I think, or an 11.
They weren't. This is the first 10 seed to get there.
Oh, okay. So maybe they're an 11.
Maybe something like that. But I feel like it's happened.
That was a crazy year with George Mason.
It was crazy because he also had like VCU or something going crazy far.
I know. It was weird. It was weird.
Yeah, and Butler I think was that year. I don't know.
I think it was kind of like the year that that people were expecting out of this tournament, but we've got two seeds and a 1 seed and then a 10 seed, but
yeah,
because nobody knew what to expect from any of these teams really.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, and also fun fact that this is the first national championship game ever broadcast on TBS on a.
Oh God.
Yeah, I think it's on it's the first time it's broadcast on anything other than like CBS, ABC, or NBC or Fox, whatever the big four or whatever.
How did TBS get that gig?
Turner, man, Turner Sports.
Yeah, but still, I mean, they own CBS too, don't they?
I know they do, and which is why I was so confused they didn't put it on CBS. Maybe it's their way of trying to get people to buy TBS.
I mean, do people still not have cable?
Yeah, some people have basic cable, I think, which is where you wouldn't necessarily get TBS.
Well,
like the most basic.
I have the most basic cable because I don't really watch TV.
Yeah.
Like on the television, I watch Hulu and Netflix and stuff, and it came free. The TV came or the station came free, so I have basic cable. Like, you know, like you get your typical channels, and you get like ESPN and like Comedy Central and like TBS and TNT.
That's what you need: ESPN and Comedy Central.
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, like,
as long as you've got HBO Now, you should be good.
But I mean, like back in the day when all we had was ABC, CBS, and NBC and PBS.
Yeah.
Like, that was all
Fox. We had Fox.
Fox came in really fuzzy for us.
Oh, okay.
It was always depressing.
I remember watching 24 back in like 2002 on our little 25-inch TV. And just like the entire family being like, "Shut up!"
Yeah, you're not allowed to speak during 24.
If you spoke, you got kicked out of the. You got kicked out. You went straight to your room.
Yeah, I remember. What was it? We I feel like we started watching. We started like Tom Hardy introduced us to it. I think
Okay.
And
Let's
he
clarify.
had
This is
season
Tom
one.
Hardy, the actor, not Tom Hardy,
Yes,
your family friend.
yes, Tom Hardy, the actor. Um, he he had like the first season of it, and he brought it over, and for like however long it was, like once a week or twice a week or three times a week, depending how intense the season was, he would come over and bring the DVDs, and we like got all the seasons and just try to binge watch them / not binge watch them because parents are kind of responsible like that. Like they'll watch like 4 or 5, but they won't watch
Yeah.
like 8. They have to go to work or whatever, so they don't stay up past like midnight or 1. But anyway, TBS is stupid. I can't believe they're having on TBS. It's such a tangent we just got on.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry.
Oh, also, cool thing about Syracuse winning. It brings me back to the March Madness pool, the Bro Chat for the People official March Madness group. There, for all those people out there, hopefully all these people who I'm about to mention are still listening. There's only 3 people left who can win. There are like 6 people left who haven't had their team eliminated, but there's only 3 people who can win. If Villanova wins, Oddman 88, or I suppose it's probably Chris Audino,
Yeah.
is gonna win. That's if Villanova wins it outright. If Oklahoma wins, then Chunks Van Winkle wins.
Who we believe is Raj because that is Raj's nickname, but he also has another one that's Nate Rogers, so we're not sure who it is.
Yeah, maybe Margaret was doing it. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
But the crazy one, if UNC wins, Colette Gay wins.
Which is crazy because I like pulled up the computer and she filled out her bracket with me, and she would like do her picks, and I was like, well, okay, that's fine, like I'm not helping you with any of this, and here I am with no chance. And she's like picking Buffalo to win because Mimi and Dave Hallenbeck live there. Oh, it was funny. Whatever city she had a connection to, she picked. And you know what? That's as good a science as any for this March Madness.
I mean, it's really kind of funny, like, the way it works out, because, I mean, she's, like, there's, like 20 brackets or something like that. She's, like, 15th bracket right now in scoring.
But she's got the most points remaining.
Yeah. Well, I think she's tied. She's tied with
Okay.
a couple other people. And they obviously wouldn't get the points if UNC wins, so.
Yeah.
But she has, like, just enough points remaining that she'll overtake who's in first place, who already lost it. So that would be interesting, to say the least. We'll have to have her come on the podcast because whoever wins this gets on the podcast.
Gets on the podcast and gets to make us a drink of their choice, or tell us what to make,
yeah.
And then we will drink it with you on air. And if you don't drink, that's fine. It can be Diet Coke. No big deal. We'll drink whatever you want us to drink as long as you drink it too.
All right, and finally, if Syracuse wins,
Syracuse wins.
either Adino or Chunks Van Winkle will win, depending on whether the Villanova or Oklahoma game goes. Mm-hmm. So it should be an interesting time.
It's exciting.
You know what else is exciting? For 4 losers like us who had filled out terrible brackets and had Michigan State winning, or UVA winning, or Kansas winning.
Or Utah winning, Mark.
Or Notre Dame or Michigan winning, whoever it was.
Yeah, or Arizona, Tom Helms.
Arizona, Tom. the first seed would go out.
But yeah, that's picking with your heart. I can respect that.
Yeah. We thought we had an interesting way of picking our picks, but
yeah, Tom, this is how we did it. Tom and I would go 1, 2, 3, and we'd both say a team at the same time. And if the team was different, then we'd play rock, paper, scissors to see which team we picked. It clearly didn't work.
Yeah, but it might have just picked us a perfect bracket too, man. You never know going into it.
There's as much chance that we get a perfect bracket than a bad one.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Oh, anyway, you know what else is great news today?
What?
Are we allowed to change the topic now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, Cruz is leading Trump in Wisconsin by 10 percentage points.
All right.
which is interesting because exactly a week ago today, Trump was up by about 10 percentage points. It's good stuff. There might be a little surge here, and then also the other good news is that Bernie, because you all know how much I feel the burn. Bernie is Bernie's up by 5 on Clinton and Wisconsin as well.
Interesting.
It's exciting stuff.
Yeah, that's what,
Maybe
April
people are
5th?
finally revolting.
So Tuesday. That's a winner take all, too.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's winner take most, I guess.
Oh, okay. Well, most could be anything.
Yeah.
Like if there's 31 delegates, most is 16. Come on.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, it's a good sign. And then I mean, it's a little bit of momentum possibly to. I don't know if Cruz still has any sort of realistic shot to get the delegates before the convention, but it definitely hurts Trump. There's no doubt about it.
Well, the problem is after this Wisconsin. I mean, the stretch of him going onwards is after the Colorado, it's New York, Connecticut, Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, which you got to think there's a lot of Trump supporters.
He, he's
Especially New
surprised.
York. New York's
Yeah,
95
especially New
delegates.
York, which is a lot of delegates. But he really surprised in Maine. So I mean, I wouldn't put it past him for some of those smaller northeastern states.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You never know. California's winner take most. That would be big.
That would be big. I think he's down right now by like 5, in between 5 and 7 points or something like that.
That's like almost within the margin of error.
Yeah, it's not insurmountable by any means. But yeah, and I'm interested to see if Bernie can keep Hillary from getting to the majority of the delegates.
Yeah, I don't think so, but
I don't either, but hey, man,
yeah.
you can always hope.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's only about 300 delegates behind, which is the same as Ted Cruz is behind Trump.
I know. Oh,
which is
man.
kind of scary. But also, I don't really want to talk about politics right now.
That's fair.
But I guess you might say this is politics. This other thing there's been a lot of talk about it because the women's U.S. soccer team, the 5 players, like
woo woo.
The 5 big players like Rapinoe and Hope Solo and Wambach and Alex Morgan. Yeah.
And who scored all our goals?
I forget what her name is right now.
Wow. So do I.
Anyway.
And do you know why we forgot? Because they don't get paid as much as the men.
Exactly.
But they should.
They're suing for equal pay to the men's team. Which, honestly, well, I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Because I had a couple evolutions of thought on this. What's your thoughts on this? Just initially, basically, the idea that there was, first of all, the men's team who won the World Cup. What was it, Germany last year or last time? They won.
Mm-hmm.
They got paid. FIFA paid them $35 million. For winning, and the women's team got 2. That was like one of the examples that they used. But they also the women U.S. team makes less than the men's U.S. team. And
now, why is that interesting, Thomas?
It's not interesting.
Don't the women bring in less money than the men?
Most of the time, but this year they actually brought in more money.
Oh. Well, that changes everything.
But here's another thing. Because this is kind of an off year. I don't think they're talking about this year in particular. Like they are. Okay. This is like an example, but one of the biggest examples that they used was that the fact that when they play these friendlies, the men have a certain amount of guaranteed money, whether they win or lose.
Mm-hmm.
And the women only get money if they win. Like they did some sort of calculation.
Good thing they win all the time.
They did some sort of calculation where, if in a 30 friendlies, if the men did not win a single game and the women won all their games, they would not make as much money as them.
I only have a problem with that if the women bring in more money or the same amount of money. I understand that you're better and it sucks that you get paid less, but if the men's team, even if they're losing, is bringing in more money through whatever endorsements, ads, television viewership, TV deals, whatever else, then the men should be paid more. However, in the case of, say, this year, when the women, like you said, brought in more money than the men this year or last year, whatever it was, then the women absolutely should be paid more than the men. Do you think this is a common sense solution?
Well, here's what's interesting about it though, because that was my thoughts on it initially. I'm like, look, it all depends. Like, you should get paid proportionally for your money. Like, for the amount of money that you bring in, you should get like a cut of it. Whatever the percentage is, the percentage is. But here's the interesting thing. I started looking more into it. So I was like, this isn't that hard to understand. Like, is it just classic misogynistic pay women less nonsense? And the answer is basically no. The way they figure out what they get paid is through negotiations. Like, the men negotiate with the U.S. Cup or whatever, the U.S. Federal Soccer Association or something like that. The men negotiated their contract in such a way that they would get paid in those friendlies. The women did it. I mean, it wasn't the women, like, it wasn't the soccer players doing the negotiations, but whoever was representing the women in the negotiations did a terrible job in securing any kind of, like, anything like this. Like, the men, like, made sure that they, like, had certain, like, levels, star level hotels and certain, travel money and certain whatever it is, like, and getting paid a certain amount, versus the women who just had a terrible negotiator. Maybe they should get Donald Trump. And this is the structure by which they paid. Like, they negotiated this contract, and now they're in the contract and they realize, like, wait, these men are getting more than us.
Mm.
What is that?
What is what?
Okay, never mind. Go on.
What is what? What?
Sorry.
I wasn't talking. I was listening to you. I wasn't talking.
No, sorry. Some ad just started to attack me and started, like, playing music really loud in my ears. They attack you everywhere, man. I was just so confused. Anyway,
privacy of your own home, they attack you.
Yeah, seriously. But I don't know. This isn't, to me, after, like, reading into this isn't a men versus women pay scale thing. Mm-hmm. They're two separate. This isn't like the same job. Like, we're not both, we're both not news anchors, and you're a woman and I'm a man. We sit next to each other and do the news together, and I get paid more than you thing. It's two separate markets, two separate jobs. And then you also have the negotiation factor that goes onto it. And I think this is, like, will they win? I don't know, probably. But I mean, like, people were talking, like, Donovan came out, and was like, look, they did a terrible job negotiating.
Yeah.
And Tim Howard said the exact same thing. Like, we fought really hard over the past, 12 years to get these things. Like, this was a constant negotiation going on.
Yeah.
And, screaming out, he didn't say this, but, like, just, like, screaming that you're a woman and you deserve more because men are pigs isn't, like, going to get you anywhere.
Oh, of course not.
No. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, yeah. I still feel like
they should get it. It just depends on money, but that's not the way that they set up their contract.
I understand that, but that's probably they probably set up, and I know, like, they probably set up their contract and thinking about, like, oh, well, there's no way we're going to bring in as much money as the men. But that doesn't mean it can't be changed, because this isn't.
But they're not trying to change it. They're trying to sue the people. They're basically trying to sue their bosses.
Yeah, and do you think Tom Brady should sue the NFL?
For what? For defamation? For Goodellgate?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Even though Goodell technically, doesn't he, under Article 46B or whatever of the NFL Players Association, has a right to levy punishment for whatever reason he wants, pretty much?
Well, that's according to the collective bargaining agreement.
Yes, which the NFL Players Association
which
signed.
basically Berman decided broke general, because you can't have a private negotiation that overrules labor laws from the federal government. Like, you can't choose in a contract to give away your right to free, to minimum wage. Like, you can't overrule labor laws.
Are the women being paid a living wage?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm just wondering.
But I mean, like, they were saying that their salaries, like, there's still a difference of like a couple $100,000 between their salaries. That's
Yeah, that's a fair amount of money.
Yeah, but I mean, like, when you're talking about salaries in hundreds of thousands, they're not talking like, oh, we make 50,000 and they make 250,000.
You're talking about they make $1 million and we make 600,000?
Yeah, something like that.
That's
So,
still a big deal, Thomas.
Whatever.
No, don't say whatever. It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, but still, like, this isn't talking, like, I was just saying that to stop your stupid point about them being a living wage.
Okay, that was a joke, first of all. And second, I mean, to me, it just, for some reason, seems like it's similar to the Deflategate thing. Sure, it's a contract. It's the NFL Players Association, the collective bargaining agreement. It's a contract they signed with the NFL. Sure, it may suck and it may be shitty, but you did it.
Hashtag free Tom Brady.
Hashtag free Tom Brady. Hashtag Goodell Gate. Hashtag down with Goodell. I could go on forever. Hashtag Goodell sucks. Hashtag Goodell Hitler. Are they different? Hashtag Goodell is Satan.
Hashtag screw you, Sean Lee.
Hashtag Sean Lee sucks. Hashtag his baby's so cute. That's the only good thing about you, Sean Lee, is your son. I'm kidding. I love you, Sean. I love you, Sean.
I know. He knows we're kidding.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Anyway, I think, wow, are we at 50 minutes right now?
Oh my gosh, are we really? Did we ramble on that long?
I don't know.
Ramble on!
I really shouldn't think that should just be our intro song. Though I do kind of like going.
I wish I knew more about women's soccer, but I just don't pay attention. I'm sorry.
Hey, the World Cup's always fun to watch.
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, I don't watch friendlies or anything, or women's MLS, let alone men's MLS. I don't watch either.
Oh my gosh, there is. I forgot that there was women's MLS.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the biggest women's soccer league in the world, if I imagine. Or at least it brings in the most money.
Yeah, like the Japanese national team, like they have full-time jobs and they play soccer at night. Full-time jobs being tiger mothers.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yep. I think we should wrap it up. We've gone on pretty long, I think.
Sure.
I always forget to look at the time in the beginning. It's so obnoxious.
I know, so do I.
But
it's bad.
Shut up! You never even try to keep track of the time. I'm always.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Just because you're the one to say it doesn't mean I'm not thinking it.
Anyway, guys, subscribe on those Stitcher and iTunes. You get these. I don't know how fast they'll go up. We'll check after this podcast. Hopefully, relatively soon.
But you gotta do it. It's just so much easier. You gotta do it.
It is way easier, more convenient, and we can like track you better, and then we can even maybe get ads if they're 20,000.
And then we can track you better. That's a big deal. we can.
Well, we can't see personally who does anything.
We can break into your iPhone, and we can see what you're listening and what you're searching for on Google. So subscribe on iTunes.
I'm kind of upset that you made it till April 20th or whatever for those T-shirts. I want my T-shirt now. We should have done like 5 days.
I tried to make the campaign I tried to make it as long as possible that you could get one, so as to potentially get more.
That's true.
Sold.
That's true. We need a hardcore campaign ad, guys. You guys can help us out.
Yeah, seriously.
Anyway, we'll see you guys on Monday. I'm sorry to all you people who go through withdrawal because we're not going to be on until Monday.
Yeah, we won't see you till Monday morning.
But you can always go back and listen to an old podcast
that you don't even remember. Like Colby, for example, you could go back and listen to the podcast that you were on, episode 5, I think it is.
Or anyone else could go back and listen to Colby's. That was a long time ago. You might not even have been listening to it back then.
That's true. There's a lot of good stuff all up on YouTube.
It's not all current events. It's just kind of like
I actually really like podcasts 5 through 10 of ours.
So do I. Yeah.
I really like them. Well, until Paul's. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, but yeah, I really liked 5 through 10. It was good.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's when we were at our best.
I
We
think we're
kind
at
of
the best
suck now.
right now.
Oh,
We're just
sorry.
killing it right now.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that totally. We dominate. We dominate. All right. Well, I guess that's it.
Brought to you by the Washington Bullets. Got this.
We'll leave it with that. And Carthage must fall.
All right. We love you, Colby.
We love you, Colby.
Keep listening to us, Colby.
We enjoy making your work, school, or baby day that much more pleasurable.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Peace.